to disappear entirely. The charge was manslaughter voluntary. There's so many ways that I could do this. I could drown you in a lake or split both your wrists, but I prefer you had a funeral, closed casket. So I'll just cut off your head. You tried to disappear entirely. The charge was manslaughter voluntary. You tried to disappear entirely. The charge was manslaughter voluntary.
All right, another beautiful Saturday in Chicago, Illinois. Nice and snowy, and we're here chilling out in Pilsen for another episode of the Steve Breit Rock Discovery Show. Welcome, everybody. Chilling out. Continuation of last week and our second annual anticipations for 2019, episode 2. Started out the episode jamming out to Double Feature. That was an older track. That was You Can Run, But You Can Die, off of their self-titled LP, Double Feature. And another great Chicago band. They are going to be coming out with some new stuff this year, so I'm very excited to check them out. It's been a little bit. I know that the drummer of the band has he'd gotten into a motorcycle accident, so that kind of delayed the release of new material. But he's back in action. Justin Miller, shout outs, and I think we can expect some new stuff around the corner, and stay tuned. We might have some special news regarding Double Feature in upcoming episodes. But that gets us right into the swing of things, and welcome everybody. And before we go any farther, as always, want to say hello, introduce, and see what's up with producer extraordinaire Jake. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for the great introduction. We're back again for season 2. Episode 2.
Yeah.
Moving. It's already 2019. We're already in the second week. Is this we're catching up on the second part of the anticipations, I believe.
Yes. So, just as it was last year, there's too much cool stuff in a city like Chicago to confine it to one episode. So we're going to be dipping more into a lot of awesome local acts that are going to be out and about with new releases and new tours, some just around the corner. And, I got to say, in the week since last week's anticipations episode, I have to call out that one of the artists that we spoke of, played, and were hyped about for last week had some unfortunate medical news.
Oh no!
So Matt Pike, lead singer of High on Fire, had to cancel the entire High on Fire tour due to medical issues related to diabetes. He's trying to save his leg. So
that's a good reason to not do a tour.
Yeah, exactly. So, much love, and sending good vibes out his way. But unfortunately, that was a show that was scheduled for the Metro January 22nd, and I was so hyped for that I asked for High on Fire tickets for Christmas this year. So I'm going to be
canceled before you got the tickets.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, yeah. I was psyched for the show. Like I said, I asked for the tickets for Christmas. My cousin was generous enough to get me the money for it. So I hadn't bought the tickets yet, but I had the cash literally in hand when the announcement for the cancellation kind of came across the internet. So I did not plunk down money, but be assured, if you did buy tickets, Metro is offering full refunds. The entire tour got canceled, and they replaced it with another show that night. I don't remember what it is offhand, but like I said, good wishes out to Matt Pike and High on Fire. Their new record, we played a little bit of it last week, is amazing. From what I've heard, I believe it is set to come out right around the corner. So, unfortunate, but moving on. Let's just kind of keep with our normal routine. So that gets us into the beer.
The almighty beer.
Yes, the beer. We cannot have a Saturday drinking and chilling out, listening, talking about music without having some tasty local brews in the mix. And
What do you got this week?
So this week is no different. We are drinking Middlebrow Brewing Company, and they are from 2840 West Armitage here in beautiful Chicago, Illinois.
Nice little Northside brewery.
Yep, and they are in the works on opening up a full-service brew pub just around the corner. Looking forward to that. I think we've showcased one or two other of their beers in the last year. But this one, we're drinking a completely out-of-season beer. This is Strange Nature by Middlebrow Brewing. This is a smoked saison. So this is a
smoked saison.
Yes, this is definitely a summer beer. And anybody who's listened to the show in the past knows that I am a fan of this style of beer. So I don't care what season it is, I'm going to be drinking it. And this one is very good. It's a 7.2 ABV smoked saison. So it's not a lightweight beer. It's one of these very, very nice, rich, I'd say a little bit more spicy than tart saisons. It's got a little bit of that smoke flavor if you like smoked beers, but it's definitely not overpowering. So this is a very nice one. I've been chilling out, relaxing with this one on a blustery Chicago Saturday afternoon. So cheers, everybody. And moving on from that and keeping right into the traditions that we've come to love on the show, we've got the shirt. So this week's shirt, Absolutely Not, another fine Chicago band, and that leads us into the next track, which, of course, will be an Absolutely Not song. This is a band that any old school Chicago punk fans, and I'm talking, back when Fireside Bowl used to regularly put on shows. This is one of the staples of the old school Fireside Bowl, or sound, I mean. Absolutely Not is a fantastic band. They recall to me old school Tub Ring, and that's where I was going with that. Very cool in that, post-punk, John Zorn, freeform jazz-esque style. If you like Mr. Bungle or any of that chaotic Tub Ring sound from back in the day here in the city, you definitely know what I'm talking about. And Anticipations, they've got a new release, and it's going to be coming out on just around the corner. I don't have the exact date of the new release, but they are playing March 2nd at the Empty Bottle for that record release. I just saw them last week. They played Ian's Party on Friday night, and they put on an excellent set. I've seen them a bunch of times previously. I've had a chance to chat with the band. They're very fucking cool, and why don't we just dive right in? So this will be Absolutely Not. This is Medicine Man. This was a track that they released right before the end of the year. I believe it is a re-release, but it was just kind of dropping some stuff out before the new full length comes out. So very excited for their new full length. And like I said, if they're touring around, they're going to be playing March 2nd at Empty Bottle. They played Ian's Party. If anybody saw them last Friday night, you know what I'm talking about. So let's just dive right in. So Absolutely Not with Medicine Man, and let's just rock.
Why don't you figure it out?
and we're back. Mild Sauce Live, chilling out to Absolutely Not with Medicine Man. And, you know, as we were playing this track, it occurred to me. Now, I just got to stipulate, you know, last Friday, Ian's party, I was pretty fucking drunk. So I don't remember everything. It kind of comes back in fits and spurts. But as the Absolutely Not set wrapped up, I was chatting with the band a little bit. And any old school listeners to the show will recall that we focused on Absolutely Not last summer at a set with Breathing Light, Manika, and Big Ups. That was 2 Chicago bands, 2 New York bands that were chilling out. That was an awesome set at the Beat Kitchen. But as I was chatting with Absolutely Not last week, they informed me that both Manika and Big Ups have broken up.
Oh, no.
So 2 fucking great bands that I was really fucking hyped about it. Anybody would recall that, you know, I was really pushing for Big Ups. I really liked what they had going on. They had a unique sound and super fucking energetic lead singer and just band all together. That was one of those bands. I think I said, like, you know, they're one of these bands that they've got like big things on the horizon, you know, lots of energy. Like, so
Not
take it
that
for what
big
it is. I
after
have
all.
no idea what I'm talking about, apparently, because they're a band no more, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Well,
but
that's part of the anticipation episode, right? So
Yeah.
Some anticipations don't fall through.
yeah, some rise, some fall, some move by the wayside. But, you know, interesting that the 2 Chicago bands on the bill that night, Absolutely Not and Breathing Light, are still kicking and going strong and putting out new music and touring around, and the city is better for it.
Most definitely.
But yeah. So again, like I said, we started out with double feature, Chicago band, moved into another local with Absolutely Not. We're keeping on the city theme with our next band. I've spoken about these guys before. We did a live show review of one of their sets a few months back, and you know, they're still on my radar. They still are fucking kicking ass in Chicago. So shifting gears stylistically, we started out with a little pop punk, got a little bit into some a little bit experimental craziness, and moving into a little stoner doom. So without further ado, next up we've got Black Road. Really dig these guys. They've got incredible, you know, old school stoner metal sound. They very much worship the altar of Black Sabbath. You will hear that when we play some of the tracks. They've got, let's see on my notes, they are playing March 21st at Reggie's. This is definitely going to be a show that I'm going to make a point to check out. They are headlining, I believe, and without a doubt, this is going to be a really good show. The track we're going to play, this is a newer release. They put this one out really close to the end of the year. We didn't get a chance to talk about it with the holidays and all that crazy stuff going on. But this is Witch of the Future. It's by Black Road, and they've got a new record also coming out right around the corner. So super stoked to see them on March 21st and looking forward to a little bit more robust release from them rather than just one song. So we'll dip into this, and then I think we'll do 2. After this one, we'll swing into another anticipation. This is going to be another show that's coming up right around the corner, and I've been super stoked for this one. Baroness is playing with Death Heaven and Zeal and Ardor. March 31st at the Riviera. Obviously, you know, Baroness kind of coming out in the wake of the big southern fried metal boom of the last decade or so with, you know, I'd say, you know, bands like Mastodon and Pallbearer and Baroness. You know, they're all kind of that same era, ilk, sound, style, region. So we'll dip into Baroness. They've got a new record coming out. It's been a few years since they've had a release. And, you know, any fans of Stoner Doom know that they come out with the colors. So they've had red, blue, green, yellow, and purple. So looking forward to the new record. I don't know what color this one's going to be, but we'll play a little bit of old school Baroness off the Red album. We'll play The Birthing in anticipation for their new stuff coming out. But yeah, let's just dive right in. So we'll do Black Road and Baroness.
All right, Black Road and Baroness coming right up.
Cheers. Kind of hot. All right, we're back. Mild Sauce Live, Steve Breit Rock Discovery Show. Jamming out to fucking Baroness, and before that, local fucking heroes, Black Road with Witch of the Future. Both of those bands coming with a quickness in March, doing some live stuff. Super stoked for that. So, like I said, Black Road, March 21st at Reggie's, and Baroness, March 31st at the Riv. Really cool stuff, and shifting gears a little bit, I think we were kind of tracking all about. These are the cool things about the anticipation episodes. We don't have a thematic or a style. We're really kind of free roaming around the musical landscape. So we started out with some pop punk, moved into some weird electronic post-punk stuff, then into some like classic old school stoner doom, then into 21st century southern metal, and now we're shifting back into some Chicago music. And this is a band that I've really been digging over the last year or so. I think they're very much, it's Hyde. I love these guys. We're going to check out Bound and Severed. They are playing January 24th, so right around the corner. They're going to be dipping into Talia Hall, I think one of the city's best acoustical rooms to hear a show. I have seen amazing fucking sounding concerts at Talia Hall over the last several years since they reopened, and that's one of those spots. I mean, we're in Pilsen; it's just a few blocks away. Very, very much appreciative of that spot kind of popping back up after how many decades was that place out?
I don't even know, but I was just there the other night, and I mean, they do a great job. I was there for the Kami show with FemDot that was there the other night. Different vibe probably than when you go to Talia Hall, but yeah, no, I mean, every time you go over there, it's a great thing for the neighborhood, sort of sometimes, but
And
the jury's out on that. Let me take that back, but no, it is a dope spot to go. It definitely brings a lot of people down to the Pilsen area. It's the only like real venue we have down this way, and it's a great one. So it's a consistent spot over there. Plus, Punch House is a nice spot to hang out in the late night hours.
Yeah. But, kind of, I wanted to shift gears a little bit in, Chicago being, major metropolitan area, international city. We are, I think, a little bit spoiled with some fantastic festivals that roll through the city. And I wanted to get into a little bit of it. This year, of course, we've got, these standard bearer shows that are always, ever present and always going on. So we've got Open Air, Chicago Open Air, which is May 19th and 20th. They didn't have one last year. They've brought it back. This is at Toyota Park down on the south side. Right after that, we've got Man Bay on the Beach, which is June 22nd and 23rd. Pitchfork and North Coast haven't released their dates yet, but Pitchfork is usually middle of summer. North Coast is a little bit later on. Then we've got Lala on August 1st through the 4th. We've got Riot Fest on September 13th through the 15th, and then we've got the Latino Fest, Ruido Fest, June 21st to the 23rd. So there's bunch of cool stuff, coming through. And then at the end of September, we're going to get Cold Waves, of course, So we've got a full slate of really cool festivals.
And don't forget also this year, it's going to be a big year for Chicago with Complex Con coming on top of...
I forgot about that. I was in LA last year for Complex Con, and shit kind of got crazy. And,
it's the same weekend as Pitchfork this year.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to
be... Somebody kind of stepped on some planning.
We were talking about this on the Guide to Grade A Living with Mars and Rob the other day, and it is kind of crazy when you look at the schedule for this year, because, a typical Chicago summer is already pretty crazy. And then this year, you're also going to have the All-Star Games coming to Chicago.
Oh, wow. I didn't
NBA All-Star Game, the Complex Con situation. There's a lot going on.
In addition to, every goddamn street fest.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's going to be 100 street fests all summer long, and they have not even, set out their set lists and band schedules yet either. So
It'll definitely be an interesting pack summer. I mean, you got the House of Bands doing a lot of stuff like every
Mhm.
other day.
Yeah.
Once it gets warm, they like really kick into high gear.
Yep.
You have this stuff, you have things going on at Soho House, you have things going on all over the city. So yeah, it should be a pretty, get your sleep now while it's snowy and rainy outside because you're not going to get much once it gets warm again.
Yeah, and it's obviously it's a little bit early for some of these venues to be releasing their lineups and stuff for the year. I think one of the ones.
Speaking of which, I mean, they might start releasing them soon now that the, Live Nation just announced that they're not going to be bringing that massive soccer stadium.
Oh, that's
venue.
news to me. Tell
Yeah.
tell a little bit more.
I can look up while we talk about it, but yeah, I mean, over the weekend, there's been a big push against the north side, or like whatever that is. It's like Goose Island, where Live Nation is trying to essentially create a log jam of buildings and bullshit. The issue being that Live Nation is owned by Ticketmaster, so they wanted to build about something like 3 or 4 venues on Goose Island.
Oh yeah.
And if anyone who knows how venues work, if you own the ticketing service, it's going to make it really hard for other venues in the city to get bands and stuff. So with Live Nation being the biggest concert promoter in the city and the country, it caused a lot of outcry. I'm tweaking right now. What the fuck? I am tweaking right now. The bar that's right over there, that's been there forever. I keep wanting to say the Mill, but that's a bar in Iowa, but it's just like that. The Hideout.
Hideout. Yeah.
The Hideout has had like a lot of community meetings trying to get people to speak out against it, and it seems to be working so far. But
That's cool.
yeah, if I look up like the news on it, Lincoln Yards will scrap 2,000 seat stadium. The venue, soccer stadium, been scrapped from the Lincoln Yards. Chicago aldermen are coming out against it, so shout out them for the first time in history.
Yeah, right.
While Burke gets
Yeah,
taken
while
down,
Alderman
it seems
Ed
like
Burke,
the other ones are starting to step up, so that's cool.
Trump's personal lawyer in Chicago.
Yeah. We'll stay away from the politics too much in this episode, but yeah, it's really
this
cool.
is a fucking rock episode. I'm not letting these fucking old fucking white fucking ass cracker fucking piece of shits blow my fucking Saturday.
Yeah. But shout out Burke for getting fucked up. It's about time. And yeah, and it's cool to see Live Nation. It's a pure community-driven effort to keep that shit out of here.
That's cool.
We don't need that. We don't need that ruining our community, our music scene. There's people in it doing that for us actively every day. So we don't need the added teardowns of people from outside the city trying to run.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure you're the same way. But for years, I mean, for years now, it's like, Jesus Christ, if I can avoid a Ticketmaster Live Nation situation, any situation where I can get 2 tickets for the price of 3, I am fucking avoiding it. And that's the beauty of, that's what I love about the city. It's so diverse, and there's so many opportunities. And this is a good thing that Lincoln Yards got a little bit shut down, because, I mean, there's so many opportunities around the city that, you can catch great stuff at great prices,
And that's a lot of independent, DIY.
Yeah, the independent venues.
Also, Jam Productions isn't as prevalent as it once was, because it really has been mined by Live Nation. So that's like a longer conversation. Maybe we should focus on like another.
Yeah,
whole episode,
Live Nation and iHeartRadio are these like juggernauts that I do my best to avoid at every opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why we do what we do.
Yeah. But, as we've been talking about festivals, one of the few that released their schedule and their pricing for this year was Chicago Open Air, which is going to be one of the early ones. It's a rock fest. This year, I believe they changed, so they didn't come last year. I went the year before, and unfortunately, I had just broken my ankle. So I was in a cast and crutches, and it was a dicey situation. I had actually had traveled in for work. I was out in Canada for work before that, and I flew in. I made Sunday of Chicago Open Air 2 years ago, even though I bought weekend passes. So that was a little bit of a bummer. They used to do the weekend pass, several bands, several stages, very festival-oriented, a la Lala, Pitchfork, Riot Fest, etc. They took a year off last year to kind of recalibrate, and they're back this year. And the headliners, I gotta say, I don't want to go. On the one hand, it's like, oh well, I love music and I want to support everything, but on the other hand, it's like, well, nobody's fucking paying me to not say my opinions. There's no
Right,
sponsorship. This is fucking raw. This is DIY. And I gotta say, man, I'm not fucking digging the Chicago Open Air, their situation this year, and I'm wondering what the hell's going on. So they went from a 3-day weekend festival, multiple stages, multiple bands, to a 2-day festival at Toyota Park, assigned seating unless you get the general admission floor seats. It is, I think, the cheapest option if you want to go 2 days is over $200. So, this is a $100 plus a day show. Entry fee alone, not talking about the beer you're drinking, the transportation getting to and from, or the merch that you want to fucking pick up at the set. And you've got 2 days, and, I don't want to shit on it, but it's like the headliners are like System of a Down and Tool. And I mean, this is like some 20-year-old fucking concert lineup that they're charging like premium prices for. I don't, like I said, it's like, I'm a Tool fan, I'm a System fan, but System of Down hasn't been like sparking anything off in my like cerebral fucking cortex for a long time now. And Tool's been threatening to put out a record for fucking almost 15 years. I mean, it's been an age since their last album, full legit tour. I know they've been doing a little bit of sporadic here and there. And I think I saw the last Chicago set where they played United Center with Meshuggah. And that was a cool set. But I got to say, if you're factoring in, like I said, I'm a city guy, I'm not driving around. I don't own a car, so I got to lift it down to Toyota Park on the south side. I live on the north side. This is going to be like, $400 a day for my fucking Chicago open air experience. That's fucking insane.
That's
and
a bit too
I don't
much,
know.
yeah.
This is like, this basically comes down to how bad do I want to go see Tool? And I'm struggling to justify the cost per benefit analysis to get like real white collar corporate bullshit. But I mean, like, for real, it's a little bit crazy. And this is something I've complained about with like North Coast Fest for a long time, where like they've got a super eclectic lineup, but like they're eclectic. And if you don't give a shit, like, if you're not passionate, North Coast is kind of cool, but like they'll bring in like one cool guy. And it's like, I don't want to pay like $75 to see like one band I really want to check out. I think
Like
Chicago
Jamiroquai
sometimes
didn't
can
do it
get
for you last year.
right. Like what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? I really wanted to go see the Claypool Lennon Experience, but for like $85 or whatever it was for like the day pass, I was like, nah. I'll catch them at a Riv show in like a year or so for like a half of that, at the least.
That's real.
But why don't we fucking shift gears? I mean, like, I don't want to shit on Chicago music and Chicago festivals, but I think that there's a few festivals that get a little ahead of themselves, and I think this year is starting to spout out a that little bit on that. And I'm not. I'm not
do what
digging
festivals
it,
are at too, man.
Just
They all
being real, man.
They're all trying to outthink
I'm a
each other.
fucking city consumer, and I got limited funds, and when there's a festival that I like and I've been to before, and they like drop some like new fucking way of doing shit, and I'm not down, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah, as you should.
But getting back into the swing, let's listen to some music. We've been chatting for a little bit. This is a band that fucking played. Speaking of festivals, they played fucking Chicago Open Air last year, and very fucking cool. Looking forward to some new fucking jamming out from them in the coming year. This is Hyde with Bound Severed. They're playing next weekend or right after January 24th at Talia Hall. Like I had mentioned earlier, great fucking room. This is going to sound fucking fantastic. I'm wondering if my money, like I said, I'm a city guy. I'm a fucking working dude, and there's no like sponsorship or anything, so I pay for everything I go to see. And this might be one of these ones I try and limit myself and like pace things out for the year. So I've already seen a couple of shows this year. I've seen about a dozen bands since December 31st, and this might be one on my radar since since the High on Fire show got canceled, I might swing out to Talia Hall if my budget can allow it for this set. So let's dive in. This is going to be a Hide with Bound Severed, and then we'll come back and chat some more.
Let's check it out.
Live, you know, it's kind of hot. Jamming out to Hide, fucking awesome local band. Fucking killed it at Cold Waves last year. I totally hope to see them on the bill for Cold Waves this year. Kind of talking about a little bit of festivals in the Chicago area. We'll do a quick transition. So we talked about Baroness a little bit earlier, and they're playing March 31st at the Riv. That's going to be a fucking stacked lineup. Baroness, it's been a little bit since their last new record came out, so I'm super fucking hyped for that. And then the rest of the bands on this bill are going to be amazing, and this leads into the next Anticipation. So I'm super fucking hyped to see Death Heaven. We're going to check out Brought to Water. Again, this show is at Riviera on March 31st. They're March 31st. Sorry, stepping on myself. They are playing with Zeal and Ardor. So if you haven't checked those guys out, that's another amazing band, and we'll talk about them in upcoming episodes. But I've been a fan of Death Heaven for a long time. This is one of those bands that is a little bit polarizing in the heavy music community. I think the death metal traditionalists are not fans of these guys, or I've heard a lot of crap from old school death metal heads about this band. But you know, I don't. I'm not swayed by opinion, and I like what I like, and these guys fucking kill it for me. I have been a fucking huge fan of these guys since Roads to Judah. Saw them a few times several years back, just trying to budget and trying to see lots of stuff. I never actually caught them on their New Bermuda tour, but I'm definitely not missing out. They've got the new record came out last fall. They're touring, like I said, on it right now. And why don't we just dip right in? This is Brought to Water, one of my favorite songs off of New Bermuda, the last record. Super fucking brutal. I really love these guys a lot. And I had an opportunity to, I saw them. They played Chicago a few times during the Sunbather tour. And after their Subterranean show, I had a chance to chat with George, the lead singer, and super fucking cool guy. I chuckle at what bands kind of put forward as a stage persona and how they present themselves to the public at large. But when you get opportunities, especially in the underground scene, in these punk and metal scenes where, you get situations where you can fucking, run into the lead singer of an awesome band that you just checked out, chilling out, smoking a cigarette on the street, waiting for his fucking cab to go back to the hotel. Had a chance to chat with George, and he's a real fucking cool, down to earth fucking dude. Real fucking mellow, and it's one of these things where it's like, you meet a band or you love a band, and then when you meet the singer, sometimes you could be disappointed, or sometimes you could dig it even all the more. And the latter was definitely the case for me after chatting with George. I really love these guys, and let's just dip in. So Deaf Heaven, Brought to Water, new record coming out, or new record has been released, and they're playing the Riv on March 31st. So let's just rock it. It's kind of hot. little audio audio visual difficulties. We bounced out of the La Armada track. We were jamming out to Deaf Heaven before that, and as you can see, we are limited on time, so I cannot play all 10 minutes of that track. But but here we are. Do we have the ability to bounce back into La Armada? Because I would appreciate if we were able to do that. Awesome. Okay, yeah. So, fucking Deaf Heaven, amazing band. Obviously, shifting gears. All right, let's do it.
Cannibalistic by nature, ain't no food that can satisfy. The hunger, the greed is unquenchable. Vicious appetite, for profit, ain't no food that can satisfy. And the greed is unquenchable. Que promueve la xenofobia, quien lucra de la violación. El infierno, prisión para emigrantes. Fresh blood is feeding the complex. Prisons get filled with innocent lives. South of the border, they're building a wall. For profit, for profit, for profit. And the greed is unquenchable. And the greed is unquenchable. Quien promueve la xenofobia, quien lucra de la violación. El infierno, prisión para emigrantes. Fresh blood is feeding the complex. South of the border, they're building a wall. For profit, for profit, for profit. Every blood filled to fit the complex.
All right, we're back, Mild Sauce Live. La Armada. Sorry about that technical difficulty a minute ago, but, it's DIY. It's fucking Chicago. We're live. We're fucking rocking it.
Taking charity donations for a new computer.
Yeah, man. Fucking producer extraordinaire. Fucking Jake fixing things on the fly. So rock out to that. But no, so we just jammed out to La Armada, one of my favorite bands in the city. I love these guys. A little bit more in the metalcore as opposed to hardcore punk world. But fantastic band nonetheless. We were jamming out to Unquenchable. They are playing February 9th at Cobra Lounge. This is going to be an amazing fucking set. Pardon me. They are. I've been drinking a lot. You know how it is. No, this is going to be an awesome set. They are fucking bringing in. This is going to be a whole Caribbean hardcore showcase. So they recently did several sets out in the Caribbean, and they're bringing some bands back with them. So I'm super fucking stoked. This is definitely going to be a band that you're going to see me out and about at. I am definitely going to this one. So like I said, February 9th at the Cobra Lounge downtown, or right down, just a couple blocks west of where we are taping right now. That's going to be fucking awesome. Super stoked. Love these guys. I've seen them several times over the years. I think they are one of the most technically proficient heavy bands in the city. If you see these guys, you know instantly that they are passionate about their craft. They fucking, this is a band that you can tell that they sit, practicing all the fucking time. They stop on a dime. They're just excellent musicians. So
No, it's
check
something
them
you
out.
talk about all the time, and got a lot
love
of
these
political flair to their music too. So give you something to think about while you're jamming out.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got the local scene and the local situation on lock. So love these guys.
Be seeing a lot more from them.
This gets towards the end, and I think we've got two more tracks. So I think we're gonna do these two. We'll wrap up, and then we'll go out on these two tracks. So this gets us towards the end. So as always, shout outs. So shout out to producer extraordinaire Jake.
I love that. Thank you for making that title stick.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Without you, I wouldn't be doing this set. So
Most definitely, man.
yeah. So and then we didn't get him this morning because of a little bit of some illness issues, I think. But
Some snow,
three-piece,
yeah.
fucking keeping it on lock in the mornings on Saturday here in Chicago. Shout outs to them. We've got fucking Guide to Grade A Living, Do Right Mars up next. So
The Guide to Grade A Living.
Shout outs to
Don't mix up Mars's brands. Guide to Grade A Living
Nope.
was on Thursday. You can catch that on YouTube right now. And then we got Do Right Radio coming up with our good friend Just Jay making his glorious return to Mild Sauce Radio after a little time away. So it'll be a nice little afternoon we got going on over here.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. So superstar DJ Mars and Just Jay right around the corner. Shout outs to everybody on Mild Sauce. And let's just fucking do it. So we've talked about this band, I think, ever since the inception of this podcast, The Eradicator. They played Ian's Party. Just last weekend, they had the new release, The Court's Closed for Christmas, a little bit of Christmas album. Not necessarily, I think only one track on that was specifically Christmas related. We're going to check out The Man in the Mask off of that release, and then we're going to go out on the final band of my anticipations for 2019, Mono of Japan. I've spoken about these guys possibly in the past. I think it's been a little over a year since the last time I saw them, so I don't believe we did an episode on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in our musings on instrumental doom stoner metal based out of the city of Chicago, a la Russian Circles and Pelican, these guys have definitely come up in the conversation. And I think, to me, this is a band that I started seeing several years ago at like Fireside Bowl shows back in the day when they used to do rock stuff. Their new album, and we're going to check out the track, it's going to be called After You Comes the Flood off their new album, Nowhere, Now Here. That's out January 25th. They are in China right now, and they will be swinging to the States later on. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. They very rarely come to Chicago. I've seen, I believe, every Chicago appearance by this band over the years, which is not many. They did a Fireside Bowl show. They did a Double Door show with High on Fire. That was amazing. It's very infrequent. I think the last time I saw them was at Sub T, and that might have been the fourth time I've seen them. Over the 20 years or so they've been putting out records. It's one of those treats. So once they come into the city, you can be sure to check in here. I will let you know, and we'll fucking just dive right on. So
Absolutely.
Let's just wrap this up. Cheers. Fucking happy Saturday. You know, it's kind of hot. It's Mild Sauce. And let's just rock out on the fucking Saturday afternoon. So let's do it.
We got The Eradicator, one of my favorites that you've brought on the previous episodes. But it's kind of hot. It's Mild Sauce. This has been the Steve Breit Rock Discovery Show, Season 2. We'll be back.
Sense of fixing, changing everywhere I go. But till we start to make a move, to make a few things right, you'll never see my ass in a suit or tie. Ditch the mask someday and tell the world the latter will be okay. But these puffs heads aim a target on my back. Until my fight is over, I'm the man in a mask.